Hi and welcome to another art tutorial. In this session we're going to be using gouache to paint with. Now gouache is very similar to a watercolour in that you do mix water with it and you can create beautiful images by layering different washes, but it's a little bit different in that if you get the right consistency you can actually create blocks of colour which is opaque and really smooth, which basically means that you can't see through it. It's almost like it's been printed from a printer. So that's the sort of look that we're going for today. So all you need is your gouache paint. You need a paint tray, some water. I have some Stonehenge paper here, and I have just really quickly drawn an image of a feather on there as well. Now the first thing that I'm going to do, I've got my gouache out here in the tray, and I need to mix water with the gouache. And what we're looking for is a really even, smooth consistency. And this might actually take you a few attempts, so it is something that you will need to experiment with. Okay, so let's give that a go. So now it's just a matter of painting it onto your image. However, what you need to remember is that you need to keep the part that you're working on consistently damp, I guess. So the part that you're working on, if you come back after it's dried to work back on it, you'll actually get a different tone to the colour. So you need to complete each part of the painting by itself. Okay, so let's start with one of these little parts of the feather. So I am going to work relatively quickly because, like I said, I need to keep that whole area that I'm working on fairly damp. Like so. And already we can see that it's fairly consistent. It's very opaque, which is great. If you get the consistency too watery, then it will be like a watercolour and it won't be as opaque. If you don't put enough water in, then when it's dry, it'll actually crack. Okay, so if you move the surface, then the paint will crack. So let's do another section. Great. And I'm going to leave it like that. Now if I was to go back to our first section now and try to paint over it, because it will have dried a little bit, it's not going to work. The colour is going to be either a little bit darker or a little bit lighter, probably a little bit darker than what it is on the paper. So you're going to have two different tones there. So that's the biggest thing to think about when you are painting with gouache, is to try and get that consistency correct and to make sure that the area that you're working on stays damp. So nice and even in that space. Now I will have to skip the middle bits because I'm actually going to do them a slightly different colour, and if I put them on now, so that's these two bits here, what's going to happen is, because my gouache is still wet, it will run a little bit into it and I don't want that to happen. So rather than doing the middle sections, I'm going to come up and do the top section of the feather. And again, I'm going to work relatively quickly because I want it to be consistent. And there we go. Like so. So that's the top section done. So I'm going to continue painting this in the same way, and once it's done I'll take a photo and pop it on the website so you can see the final image. Thank you.